What's going on, everybody? Welcome to pilot episode, season 1, episode 1 of The Meta. Going to give a brief purpose of the podcast, but first I'll introduce myself. My name is Walter Bransema. Basically, one of the two parts of New Meta Entertainment, the channel you're looking at right now, and part of this team that is accompanying me for this South Carolina Smash podcast. So if you guys want to introduce yourselves.
My name's Cody Cameron. I go by P-Dude, Protoman, VX, Proto-Dude, kind of whatever. I moved here from Florida, Tennessee. Been hosting tournaments up here pretty much ever since I moved here. Used to run the Smash Carolina series, and right now I'm playing Smash 4, Project M, all that good stuff.
Cool.
And I'm DJ, and I don't really have a tag, except because Nintendo doesn't let me use any of them. But right now I'm just manning Pac-Man and Smash 4, but I'm not really going to tournaments because I'm lazy as crap. So
right.
I'll defer to Walter for most of this look.
And we were supposed to have the lovely Kevin Carmichael, aka Pikmin, joining us on this chat, but he actually ended up bailing for now, so it's just going to be the three of us, I think, unless we can get a call in from him later. But until then, we're just going to roll with this for now. And I guess we'll just get right into it. Going at the first thing on this topic list, we're going to talk about the purpose of this podcast, the meta. I will be looking to make this more visually appealing if it isn't already. So just for more updates, be sure to look at that. But for the purpose of the podcast, the main thing that we want to get out of this is to educate the South Carolina community. All three of us, as well as the other people in our team, are all members of the South Carolina Smash community. If you're not a member of it already and you would like to check it out, feel free to check it out on Facebook under SC Melee. It's a really cool Facebook group, and I highly recommend it. Other things we want to do with this podcast is focus discussion on certain topics and facilitate discussion on what I'd like to think is a semi-monthly basis. As of right now, we have it scheduled for about once a month. We're going to do one of these episodes, but if support comes from it or we're able to create more material, that could potentially change. But for now, it's going to be on a monthly basis. This discussion is going to generate hype for future tournaments and events, use as a news center for South Carolina updates, etc., etc. Other things we'd like to do, facilitate communication between members of the South Carolina Smash community and make decisions together from a competitive standpoint, because that's basically the reason why we're doing this. And then just general knowledge sharing within the community. And then the last thing that we wanted to just touch upon was a possibly separate podcast sort of analysis idea that we're going to be working on in the future, which will be sort of for more entry-level smashers or people looking to get into the competitive scene, whether or not you're from South Carolina or you're just tuning in. But we'll be talking more about what makes Smash different compared to traditional fighters, and then just an in-depth sort of game analysis from a competitive standpoint. Cool. So that's pretty much the purpose of this podcast. We will do some public service announcements for anyone in the South Carolina right now, if one of you guys want to handle that right now.
I think that should be Cody's.
Yeah. All right. So as of the airing of this podcast right now, we have Extinction 3 tomorrow, and that as far as Smash goes, it's featuring Smash 4 Wii U singles. That's starting about noon, and once that wraps up, they're going to start Smash 3DS singles, which is going to be kind of a salty run back kind of thing. But customs are going to be turned on, Mii's going to be turned on, just to kind of spice things up a bit. I believe 2 o'clock Project M doubles are going to start. I think right now they've got about 12 or so teams signed up for that, so that should be pretty good. Then 2 or 3, I think, is when Project M singles is going to start. And I think they've got approximately 30 people coming to that as well. It's looking like it's going to be a good turnout. There's a $50 pop bonus for Wii U singles and Project M singles, so that's
Awesome.
pretty good.
Sounds really good. You're actually, I think, one of the favorites for Project M and Smash 4 as well, I think.
Well, we'll see. I've been messing around with Project M for a bit. I retired there for a little while. Then 3.5 came out, and I messed around with that because I made Meta Knight in 3.0. Yeah, so he's kind of slow now, but he's workable.
Mm-hmm.
And then with Smash 4, I've been doing a lot of training online through Anthra's Ladder, which is a really cool resource just to get competitive matches in that kind of mean something, because you're competing for points and everything and ranking. So it feels a little bit more tense than than your standard friendly.
Gotcha.
So that's a really cool resource. As far as how I'll do, there's a few other good players going there too. You got Fenrir, who was formerly number 2 in Project M here in South Carolina. He's competing in Smash 4 singles, and there's a possibility of Smash 4 doubles happening. If that does happening, me and him are going to team.
Okay.
Yeah, so that should be pretty good. And he's got a really, really solid Mega Man. He's his spacing game and edge guard game is just on point.
Gotcha.
It's unbelievable. And then you've got this beast from Georgia named Fatality. Now, if you haven't seen Fatality, this guy has got just the sickest Falcon in every single game. It was at the top of the subreddit from Smash Carolina 5 with Losers Finals. Him versus, I can't remember who the guy. I think Stingers from North Carolina. They were playing, and just like the subreddit was freaking out over this. Just a footstool into a dare and just all these crazy combos.
Oh wait, I saw that GIF.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh my god,
Fatality.
I remember. Actually, this is a total side note, but Nick Widener, aka Vide, he is like starting to pick up that footstool knee, footstool dare, and
yeah, that's good. Yeah,
I go fucking crazy every time I see that.
Any Falcon player in any game, like Fatality's a really cool guy to watch.
Definitely,
he's just so stylish. I had the pleasure of teaming with him in Melee at SC5, and that was just a blast.
Right.
Like, yeah, it was a lot of fun. And he and I are teaming for Project M doubles tomorrow, so I'm looking forward to that. I feel like we have pretty good team chemistry, and Mennonite Captain Falcon is a good team. So
right.
He's the guy I would probably put at winning Project M. I haven't played him in Smash 4. I can't really dictate that. I know he's good. I know he's been doing really well in Georgia. And South Carolina hasn't had as many tournaments as I would like for it to.
Definitely.
Yeah, so I'm hoping to get out and compete a little bit more often. I hope a few more people get out and compete more often, so we can kind of solidify how we're doing.
Right.
So that's going to be good.
Yeah. I actually was going to go into any sort of projected matches we're looking to see. I guess anticipated results. You already kind of hit that point with Fatality. I would agree with that. I think Fatality is easily top 3 in this tournament. I'm looking at the registration list right now. I see Like an Egg, who's currently top 10 on that list right now on our page.
Oh,
and Advanced Multivitamin, really good Wario main for Project M.
Okay, I got to play him in the 3DS version for a little bit, and that was a lot of fun. He's really solid.
Mm-hmm. And then we have BT Dubs, who's actually a member of this team right now, who couldn't make it out today for this. I think those people are definitely in the running. What I would think and anticipate for top 3 maybe, I believe LeFou is going to be there. I can't see him on the list right now. But
yeah,
I
do believe he's going to be there, and I would peg him for top 3.
My projected top 3 would probably be like within a toss-up. It'd be like you, LeFou, Pikmin, Fatality, and then Advanced Multivitamin more than likely. I think would easily be top 8, and then from there we just have to figure out what's going on. Smash 4, and at Smash 4 that's kind of more of a toss-up, I think, because it's such a new competitive game that's coming out.
Everyone's kind of feeling out how the game works and what they can get away with and what they can't get away with.
I'm putting my money on Dubby.
Dubby got really good, actually.
I'm putting my money on Dubby. You guys like.
I played him some last night. Actually, and his Shulk is really, really solid.
Mm-hmm.
Really solid. I like it a lot.
Yeah, I definitely think it's doable for play, especially for Smash 4. I think it's just going to be like, it's so new, and you did say customs were going to be on for it. Is that correct?
For the 3DS version.
Okay, for 3DS, that's going to be a whole new parameter, and we're going to be actually discussing Smash 4 in a separate episode in the future. But I just think with the whole customs thing, that makes it a complete guessing game on who's going to take that, because you don't know what's guaranteed, what's a true combo, what's a follow-up in Smash 4, especially when someone has those customs on, and either A, you don't talk about it in the beginning, or B, you do, and then you don't know how it's really going to synergize. So I guess I don't really have a prediction for Smash 4, but I mean, for my Project M, those 5 names I previously said are definitely in the running for top 8 easily. I still don't know if I'm going to be making it out there, but even if I go, I don't have a main, so.
Go play for fun.
Getting a message from this guy.
Walter does not have a main, and therefore
Let
it's
me
not
know when
on
we start
foot.
talking about the PM fraud. I'll join for that. It says Pikmin, actually. So we'll have a call in from him later today. But
Bloody hell.
yeah, that
Yeah,
was good. I liked the thing for projected results. I think that's really good. In terms of matches, I'd like to see. I want to see LeFou play some more matches in Project M because I don't really see him do too much in Project M. His Ganon's really really good.
Especially with the buffs Ganon got.
Oh yeah, and that's going to be really
3.0
interesting too if he's still
yeah.
playing that character.
Guys, LeFou's Ganon is totally fraudulent.
Well,
We're saving that for later in the podcast. We don't talk about that yet.
I would actually really like to see LeFou's Falco go up against Fatality's Falcon.
Oh yeah, I could
I
actually.
would
That would be
like to see
more.
that.
That would be almost more of a traditional melee match.
Last time I played him, his lockdown game was just on point. It was really, really good and really well done.
Mm-hmm.
And he was fun to play against, fun to watch. And I think like both of them are really entertaining players.
Definitely, and I think when you push LeFou to that point where he switches to his Falco, because he does have a good Falco in Project M, but he doesn't really go to it that much. I think.
I personally think his Falco's better than his Ganon.
I mean, it would vary. I mean, Ganon's really good in Project M. Don't get
Oh
me
yeah,
wrong, but
no, everybody plays Ganon though.
I think that's going to bring it more to a traditional melee roots sort of game, especially if it's one against Fatality. And that might push the boundaries in LeFou's favor,
Yeah,
I think, because I don't know how comfortable Fatality is with melee.
Well, the thing about Fatality in melee is he has the same tools as he does in Project M for the most part, except for just like a few minor touches. Like the footstool is a big example.
Yeah, definitely.
And the pivoting is a lot more intricate in Project M than it is in melee. So like it's going to be interesting if we could. I would love to see Butch play Fatality when Fatality has all of his tools available.
Definitely, yeah.
So.
Awesome. And then for other matches I'm looking for, I mean, naturally Pikmin's a really strong contender in this tournament, so
really
him against pretty much anyone would be really good. I'd like to see you play a lot too, because I don't really know what you're doing now that Meta Knight got kind of poopied on.
Well, I've been working a lot. I've been spending a lot of time in the lab working a lot with this new down air and looking at its gimping possibilities and all that stuff. Getting my fingers back warmed up from Project M. For Project M, because I've been putting a lot of time in Smash 4 lately.
Mm-hmm.
So and that's not anywhere near as technically demanding. So it's I've been working in the lab with all that, working on his combos, adjusting to the loss of the jump.
Right.
Is the thing that kind of threw me off when I first picked it up. Because he was a super good character at 3.0, and he's still a good character at 3.5.
Mm-hmm.
He just lost a few of his tools, and his down air is different. I personally would have left it as it was, but I'm not PM Dev Team, so I can't make those calls. But so I'm just going to work with what I got. I've been sitting down learning what works, what doesn't work. So I've been specifically looking at Spaceys.
Awesome.
Yeah, because they're a little bit more dominant, I think, in 3.5 because everybody else got nerfed.
Right.
Except really them. I feel like the PM backroom's kind of scared to nerf them.
Right.
But so we'll see what happens. I could get last.
And we'll talk more about the Project M stuff later in this podcast as well. But if DJ would like to go on to speak about Olympus, another tournament coming up, that would be splendid.
What do you want me to say about Olympus? Like, isn't this some tournament in February being held at somewhere up in Clemson?
Definitely.
And being run by a certain Mr. Star-Lord and Evan Tripp.
Mm-hmm. Yes, Olympus, very promising tournament, I think. Taking place February 28th, 2015. I will be leaving the links to all of these Facebook events on the description when I upload this to YouTube. But Olympus, really, really promising tournament. There's a lot of people already deciding to come out. I think it's going to be stacked.
It's going to be really good. I'm excited to watch it.
Mm-hmm. It's going to be good. It is taking place in Clemson, that's correct. And a lot of good sponsors already coming out for this, so I'm excited to see some sort of pop bonuses. And I believe this channel, New Meta Entertainment, will actually be streaming the event as well. So hopefully you guys can look forward to that. Last couple of announcements. Capstone weeklies, for those of you in the Columbia, I guess West Columbia area who are nearby the University of South Carolina in Columbia, I am currently working in Capstone House, a residence hall there, and I'm trying to do some work to get a weekly gathering going on in that building. So it depends on the availability of the room. It's likely going to be on Monday nights for those of you who are interested, but it's subject to change.
And in addition to the Capstone Weeklies, I believe that a local card shop in the area called Ready to Play is also looking into getting either weekly or semi-weekly Smash 4 and Melee tournaments getting started up. I believe there was one tonight, actually.
Yeah.
That started off around seven, and it's like it's a cheap $5 buy-in, and the prizes are like in store credit and cash payout, but they're just getting started. I know a few people like Zaw and Neutral B are going, so.
Right. I think their tournament, the next tournament they're going to be holding, I don't have it on this schedule actually, but it's for Melee and Smash 4. It's going to be taking on Sunday the 25th, I think, and that's going to be a $10 buy-in for both games. Should be pretty good because, I mean, the first tournament, not many people knew about it. It was a pretty good success, so they're going for it again. And now that they're doing it a second time, everyone knows about it now. So you have like me coming out, Pikmin, LeFou. So there's going to be a lot of heavy hitters there going, and I think that's going to be good.
Last time you just had Star-Lord and Zoopal out there just being Star-Lord and Zoopal.
Definitely. And then last announcement, a prospective 24-hour marathon upcoming. I just wanted to put that out there for everyone. But on this channel, we're looking to do a 24-hour charity live stream. My idea was called Smash for Cash, and I'm just going to explain that really quick, and then we'll hopefully get that rolling so we can do it at some point in the future. But pretty much how it would work is we would have like a mini bracket, and any person in the tournament would be playing for a specific charity. So for instance, I could play for like St. Jude's Foundation or whatever else, and any money that would be donated on the stream could be pledged to a specific player. And then however normal tournament payouts go, the money would just go towards the charity that they played for. And then all in all, it would hopefully be a good cause. We'd be going for a day, so we do that tournament and then probably just get something else going for the rest of the day. And I'm hoping that it's going to be something really good. But yeah.
I like it.
All right, and that's going to do it for public service announcements. We can go into probably like more of the meat of our discussion now, but we're going to go to Apex 2015 and Project M. You guys already know Apex 2015 taking place January 30th to February 1st. The big thing that happened early in the tournament's announcement was that Project M was announced as not being part of the lineup. So what are your guys' thoughts in reaction to that?
And just today, or I believe it was late last night, early today, the sponsorship list for the Apex Series tournaments came out today. And guess who, unsurprisingly, was a part of that list?
Big
Nintendo.
Oh, wow.
Big in itself. As many people speculated when they announced that PM would not be a part of the games list this year, and the outcry for why no PM? Everyone else is shouting, "Oh wow, Nintendo's listening to us now." And yet here we are, standing on the threshold of yet another game war. I'm just waiting for honestly the whole PM not being at Apex isn't gonna be. I'm not seeing that as that big of a deal because PM's PM. It's
Right.
gonna survive.
PM's been through worse.
Right.
Yeah,
definitely.
I feel like PM's been through worse. It's not nearly at Brawl level.
Right.
At any point.
I think as like a community-driven game, it's perfectly fine to not include it. I mean,
Yeah.
we're going to go over the public reaction. Initially, like, everyone was just kind of in an uproar, it seems. But now they're kind of more lax about it. It seems like everything's all right. Nintendo and us are good. That's the main thing.
And we're not, and people are not sending death threats to Alex Strife and the rest of the Apex staff. Thank the fucking Lord. That was a dark hour for everyone. A dark hour for everyone involved, onlookers included. But I mean, if we want to talk about things to come, I mean, what happens when we get down the road to like Evo, when there's a huge chance that this year that Melee is going to be dropped from the lineup in favor of Smash 4.
Mm-hmm. I would say that's pretty much guaranteed to happen.
Yeah.
This is what Nintendo really wants to promote, and Evo can't run 2 Smash games.
Right.
They can't. If they do, it would be a miracle, and I would love it.
Right.
But as it stands, with Nintendo getting involved now, they're going to want to push their new product.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's why you don't see Marvel vs. Capcom 2.
Naturally, yeah. I think with Apex announcing that PM isn't going to be on the lineup, and as early as they said it, I mean, it would be kind of appropriate to keep this game specifically. I mean, Melee is another story, and we can talk about that another time. But I think for Project M specifically, it's appropriate to kind of keep it around in higher caliber tournaments because it's already made such a huge splash in the competitive scene.
And to be fair, I don't want to be the guy that says this because I've heard a number of people that I've talked to about this, and there's this idea going around that PM is just more of an updated, like what PM was intended to be was an updated version of Melee, really.
Mm-hmm.
Like it wasn't supposed to be a 1-to-1 clone. It was supposed to be just like an updated version in a game where you could be rewarded for your technical ability.
Right.
And you have multiple options of movement, and it'd be much more entertaining to watch than Brawl, even though Brawl in itself was entertaining for a different reason.
Mm-hmm.
But a few people I've been talking to recently have stated that because PM's existent, we have made Melee is outdated.
Right.
And I just want to say that even if it is outdated, that doesn't mean it's a bad game because it's Melee, and no one's going to call Melee a bad game except for, I don't know, people who hate Melee, which is fine. But that being said, it's just like but then there are people who say that PM's outdated because Melee is outdated because they're basically the same game when they really aren't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're very, very different.
Right.
And
I guess that with that announcement from Nintendo sponsoring Apex, the game definitely isn't treading on thin ice like it used to be. That's amazing for the dev team, for everyone involved, for anyone who's playing competitively. That's huge. What I do think is it's difficult to continue having it try to appear in higher caliber tournaments such as Apex, Evo, a regional, anything like that, when they kind of made it clear that they weren't going to be doing too much with it outside of maybe game balancing. And that's for the next topic as well. But I mean, people were excited about new characters. They said, we're doing 4, that's it. And then we're done.
We're talking about Smash 4, right?
Project M.
People were excited for new characters in Project M that weren't Melee.
Yeah, and Project M is the dev team's actually going to be delivering a few new characters, which seem to have been leaked by now, but it's not.
Everybody knew about.
It's not like 100% confirmed, but it's like 99.9% confirmed that they're the characters that are in.
This is news to me.
But
we'll show you later.
I think it's very I think it's very difficult when all the dev team's doing is game balancing, which is great. I think that's great because you see like the MOBA community such as League of Legends and Dota, they do that to a fairly good extent. But for a game like this, when balancing is only going to bring out like negative reactions, and then maybe the 1 in a million positive, like, oh my god, like fucking Ganon can float now. But that makes it difficult to try and like continue it in a game like that, especially with Smash 4 on the horizon and that competitive scene trying to bloom out.
I think you're right to an extent there. Like there's gonna be that amount of negative backlash, and the negative voices generally aren't the loudest. But I mean, who isn't gonna complain about Diddy? Who isn't going to be happy about Diddy getting nerfed in PM? Like, I mean, I know there's going to be that one guy who's going to be sitting there saying, who the heck goes to the grocery store and only buys 1 banana? There's all... But,
point.
That was...
I mean, it's a good point.
I was not expecting that joke. That was like... Okay. Continue.
Here's the thing about Project Imbalance.
Well,
when they release a patch, a .5 or a new .0 or something, a lot of characters are completely changed.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of, I think, the issue that a lot of people have with the game is, they learn this character
Mm-hmm.
and they learn all these options and everything, and then the next patch comes out, that's all invalidated,
Right.
all of it. Like, poor Lucas players.
Don't even get me started.
Yeah. So it's, Lucas, yeah, he was a little silly, but changing the way a character plays, I personally disagree with.
Mm-hmm.
I think a better way to balance the game is to tweak and not change a play style. That way, someone coming in from an earlier version, they can still play their character. That's
Right.
fine. And that's how Smash 4's kind of approached it when they were doing their patches.
Yeah.
Like Rosalina, her Luma, once it got killed, instead of an 8-second spawn time, it was moved to 13 seconds.
That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah, so it didn't change how you play the character at all.
All right, I'm gonna pause you right there real quick. We're gonna get more into the meat of this balance discussion, but I think we've sufficiently talked about the continuance of Project M in upper echelon tournaments such as that to a good extent. But we're gonna try to call in Mr. Flexosaurus right now to see if we can get him in this call. And you're on TV. All right, he's in. And we're going to get more into the, I guess, bigger discussion about Project M outside of the tournament realm itself. As a preference, welcome to the meta, Pikmin, if you can hear me. I don't know if you're
No.
Okay, cool. Awesome face cam coming from Pikmin right now, but we'll work on that for the next episode. Okay, so this is the main discussion I want to talk about. It's going to sound really brazen at first, but I'll back it up with something in a second. But the main discussion is PM for frauds? And that sounds really terrible to say right off the bat. But what I will do, again, I'll be talking about... I'll be leaving links to this in the YouTube description when I upload this, but there was a discussion maybe several months ago by now, but it was actually from Mewtwo King, stating that, I'm going to quote, "The PM devs that only play PM and aren't good at Melee are complete frauds. They just abuse the fact that, 1, their characters are secretly broken, 2, no one knows how to handle their stuff compared to Melee since Melee is an older game." I'll go on to talk about some of the other things Mewtwo King said in this Twitch feed. The main quote was, "If you're only good at PM, you're a fraud." Second thing he said to back that up, your character 90% chance carries you either by being broken or by people not knowing the matchup / gimmicks.
Preach.
So we're just going to talk about that real quick. What do you guys think about that sentiment? I guess that it's a bit outdated of an idea coming from Mewtwo King right now, but with the 3.5 changeless coming out maybe a month or two ago, we can talk about this and see what we think.
All right, before Kevin launches into whatever rant he has been writing for the past fucking month.
Year.
All right, can we just
Wow.
year?
Ever
Can
since
we
I
just
moved to South
define?
Carolina.
Ever since okay, before he was born, can we define
From the
Can we
womb.
before they picked him up at the salt factory? Can we define fraudulence? Just what it means to be a fraud.
I think Kevin would probably be the best person to answer.
All
that
right, Kevin,
question.
define it.
A fraud? Refusing to learn the fundamentals of a game and getting carried off of gimmicks. That's what I look at as a fraud. Like in PM, you don't have to know the fundamentals because your character doesn't have to. Diddy and 3.0 didn't need fundamentals when he had bananas and side Bs and gimmicks. That's the way I see it. They're not learning how to play Smash. They're learning how to play that character. So when they get a new update and they're shit out of luck because their character got nerfed, they're back at square zero because they never actually learned how to play the game in the first place.
See, I somewhat agree with that sentiment to an extent. My main thing is yes, you'll see me play Project M and I'll always complain about it. But by the same token,
I
it's
do it every day.
if I'm gonna complain about it, why and if other people are going to complain about game balancing and things like that, why do people still play the game and why does it still have the exact following that
Free
it does?
money.
Free money.
I mean, he's
Okay,
Um,
so
wrong.
I moved to South Carolina in, what was it, 2012, I think?
Okay.
Yeah,
I didn't
2012.
actually know you until last year, I think.
Yeah. So, well, okay. So I moved to South Carolina. I've been playing Project M in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
I showed up. I bodied everybody.
Okay.
Like I mean, everybody. Like RC, Lefu, Pikmin.
Mm-hmm.
You know, all these people who are miles and miles ahead of me in Melee. So in a set, like I think Project M, part of the way that the characters are designed, it's a lot more accessible than Melee. It really is because it's Melee with training wheels at this point.
Yeah.
It really is. You know, it's technically demanding. I mean, I feel like a tech skill god when I play Fox in Project M, but I can't do it at all in Melee. And I think a really big issue with 3.0 is, you know, like Kevin said, there's a lot of Project M wasn't built around the fundamentals of Smash.
Okay.
They really weren't, and they made these really weird changes to characters that it really wasn't wrong with them. Like, you know, Diddy's sliding everywhere with bananas, making everybody trip and everything, getting free forward smashes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and all the combos really float. Like the game was designed around combos, so a lot of the stuff came really easily and really naturally, and a lot of the same stuff happened almost every match. Like for example, Meta Knight in 2.6, 3.0, I could up smash Spaceys 6 times without them being able to escape.
Right.
And
I did it to Mewtwo King.
Right.
I mean, so it's one of those like, and that, you know, when I got into into Spacey matchups, you know, that's what I did to them.
Mm-hmm.
I can't do that in Melee. I mean, it's a very different game in that sense.
Right.
I think a lot of this has been alleviated in 3.5 because everybody's mid tier now, except for Melee high tiers.
Okay.
And Ganondorf, but so it's a really different game, and it's really hard to explain.
Right. Yeah.
Because, you know, it's just very fundamentally different. And Project M shows maybe the very early signs of standard Smash fundamentals, but I feel like Brawl itself was a lot better of a teacher than Project M was, because you had to really learn your spacing and get everything. You can't just go in guns blazing and get up on the C stick on Spacey 6 times.
Yeah, I can definitely agree with that. I think the PM dev team definitely did try to make it as Melee-esque as possible when they originally started, but it's hard to do when you have a 14, 15-year-old game that it's been hard in its roots on who's good and who's not by now. So it's like you want to have the same thing in Project M, then people are going to say you're giving me the same game. Like, why wouldn't I just play the one from 2001? I think. But by the same token, I think it's frustrating, like you said, when they kind of just do this total 180 with the character and just make it so different that it's to the point where it's unplayable. It's, for me, I mean, I picked up Lucas in less than a month. Like, I think that goes, like, that says a lot about just, I guess, the fundamentals of the game, like you said, Cody. But I picked up Lucas in less than a month. I'm pulling up the Lucas change list, actually, specifically, just to read a few things. It's like forward air flub damage reduced and hitbox size reduced, damage 9 to 10 reduced to 7 to 8, knockback compensated. Things like his down B doesn't give you really any sort of recovery now. Of course, the tether recovery, the tether nerf to everybody, which was huge. So at that point, like for me, I feel like I can't even play my character anymore. The one that I put in, not a lot of time, albeit, but time to learn the character. And I would much rather use my time to find a new character in this new patch than to try and stick with this character that they've just totally decimated at this point.
And that's even if you want to keep playing.
Right, yeah.
I know a lot of people like Android, a really technical Lucas player from Greenville. He's like, I don't want to play Project M anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I can't play my character anymore. But in all this time and all this effort, and now I can't play him anymore because, they didn't tweak him. They changed him.
Right, and that's the most frustrating thing to me, I think. And that's where I'll agree with Kevin, definitely, where it is somewhat, I guess, quote-unquote fraudulent, where you can just pick up a new character such as Diddy in 3.0 or Who was it? Icon 2.5 or whatever. But like
Sonic
just
at 2.5.
just characters that were just unbelievably good for that patch, and you just abuse the character until, hey, like, I'm gonna get nerfed sooner or later, so I might as well enjoy the ride.
I made a lot of money.
I don't know.
2.6 3.0, I made a lot of money.
I feel like people aren't going to learn how to get over a bad matchup or like learn how to beat a character if it's just going to get nerfed. It's stupid.
Yeah.
Right, and
And
my
see, like-
Like you're not learning anything at that point. You're just waiting for you're complaining about it until they nerf it, and then that's when you start beating Diddy players. But they're not going to
People
learn.
get dependent on nerfs.
Mhm.
Like, people get straight up dependent on nerfs because it's a thing. I guarantee you, if Melee had balance patches when it came out,
Oh, Fox would be nerfed day one.
yeah.
Fox
People
was
would be
nerfed
asking
day one.
for it. And then when it happened, they'd be like, why was Fox nerfed?
Fox was nerfed day one. That's why we have PAL.
See, nobody knows PAL exists because nobody
I love
plays
PAL.
Underappreciated pal. But yeah,
Like-
I definitely agree. I think
Yeah, so-
it's like it's kind of terrible, honestly, where it's, if you're gonna complain about not knowing the matchups or anything like that, then don't change the game. Like, let the meta evolve
Yes.
to the point where people can understand the matchups. It's like, for instance, when Mario was extremely good in Project M, everyone was like, oh, like, with all their moaning and groaning, Mario's too good. Like, he needs a nerf X, Y, and Z. They left that patch out for a little while. They didn't update the game at all. People started to learn the Mario matchup. He kind of fell out of existence in tournament play. It's just annoying that the game has come to the point where you have to just totally go off the half pipe with your character, and then you just relearn, and it's like playing an entirely new game every time the patch comes out.
Oh, goodness. A lot of people are getting like that in Smash 4, too. Like, if a game can be patched, everyone's going to beg and plead for it to be patched.
Definitely, yeah. And the Smash 4 is for another episode down the line, but I think that's a very good parallel to this game. It kind of
It's
sucks.
just causing
Like,
trouble everywhere, man. Causing trouble everywhere.
I mean, but you got to remember that this whole nerf ban patch bullshit is it's prevalent in literally every esports game that you can think of.
Yeah.
Like, let's just take a look at StarCraft, where this issue is a hell of a lot worse. Where the only way to actually have, like, I don't know if you all follow StarCraft at all, but you've got your three races that you can play. You've got Terran, Zerg, Protoss, and there's so many Protoss players complaining right now that the Terran is overpowered and Widow Mines need to be nerfed and all this jazz. And there's like Naniwa, who's like this great Protoss player, isn't even playing the game anymore until the next expansion comes out.
Yeah.
And they got to this point because Blizzard, the developers, decided that Blizzard's very good about listening to the community when it comes to this, but the only voices they really heard were the ones calling for buffs to Terran and nerfs to whatever. And so the nerfs and buffs and patches are like a thing throughout esports, and it's just and to say that having to learn to play the game over again, I don't know if that's entirely correct. Like, with the Lucas thing, I get it that they nerfed his recovery into the ground, right? But in that aspect, I think you may be looking at it in a vacuum, where you're looking at Lucas alone, and you're not taking a look at the whole picture where everyone else in the game also got nerfed.
Mhm.
This is known as the nerf patch for a reason.
Right.
And
Everybody's
like,
mid-tier except Melee top tiers.
which also, I mean,
And they
to
were
an
garbage to
extent.
begin with.
What's that?
They were garbage to begin with. They nerfed Sheik's fair damage, nerfed her the
And now we
knockback
have-
on it, nerfed her throws. They nerfed my needles.
and
can
the
go
and the
on for
peanut
days.
gallery talking about
No,
sheep
no,
for
but
a
then
while.
we have Spaceys. We have Spaceys who lost invincibility on Shine.
Oh, no. Not my one-frame invincibility.
That's what I'm saying. Like, nobody knows how to deal with Spaceys in PM because they never played a real Spacey because that's only in Melee.
Well, see, here's the thing.
I'm so salty.
When in 3.0, now I haven't played enough of 3.5 to really pass judgment on this or not. But in 3.0, it's a lot of times when I lost, I didn't feel outplayed.
Right. Yeah.
And that was a really, really big thing for me, and it was just really frustrating. When I lose in Melee, I feel outplayed. When I lose in Smash 4, I feel outplayed. You know, I don't know, like that's kind of like that was the big red flag for me.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think it definitely takes really solid fundamentals still to be talented at this game. It's like, I remember, what was it, Smash Carolina 3. I got 4th place in Project M. I never played Project M before that. I never played it.
Mario,
I was playing like LeFou, like Star-Lord, like in bracket.
Well,
I'm like,
fair,
what the heck? Like,
to be fair, you did. Was that the tournament you beat Butch at in Melee?
That was the tournament.
that was the one
he knocked Butch, he knocked Spin Jump, he knocked basically everyone but ESAM and Matt, and he was actually kind of holding his ground against ESAM for a bit.
That was a crazy tournament because that was when I beat Matt and sent Matt to losers. And then like I ran through I ran through Spin Jump, ran through Fenrir, ran through Matt, and played ESAM in winners finals. He's like, dude, you're running a tournament. What are you doing in winners finals?
Oh my gosh, never will I forget just extending the hand to Butch in Melee, and LeFou just goes total, like, I love him to death. He went total emo mode after that. Like, Hood was on for the whole day. Like, he wasn't talking to anyone. He was on his practice TV in the corner for the rest of the day. And then I was like, I'm gonna get fucking. I got knocked out by ESAM. I'm like, I'm gonna see him in losers. Like, I'm gonna see him in losers. There's no way this is gonna happen. Lo and behold, I find him in the losers bracket, and he was mad.
and he bodied you.
It was kind of like close, I guess. I mean, I'm glad it wasn't on stream because I remember SDing a lot, but that's okay. Yeah, no, I mean, perhaps this is like a Kevin with that fucking Clash of Clans. I think it's perhaps like a brazen argument almost to say, and it might be like really outgoing to say something like this, but in my opinion, I think with Project M, let it sit for like a year, maybe. Like, however long it's going to be, a year. And then if people still have their complaints about it, field the complaints, see what's up, and then see if those are actually really valid claims, and then make tweaks based on that. Tweaks. And the keyword is tweak, as Cody said, not full changes, like a tweak.
Not change up.
The problem is everybody has input on it. So, like, a scrub saying something's broken, you get enough of them, they're going to change it. It's just like in Street Fighter. Mm-hmm. Everybody's sitting here complaining about Zangief's green light hand punch when the thing is garbage. Like, he's a garbage character with a garbage move. It's minus on block, it's minus on hit, it doesn't knock down, it doesn't do anything. Yet they're going to nerf it. Why? Because enough scrubs are going to complain about it.
See, I'm that scrub that complains about command grabs, so... But I think what we actually need to remember though is that the PMDT did actually address this issue. Mm-hmm. I think they have decided to take a much more relaxed approach to patching, and in the coming days. It's just that with 3.5 they really wanted to trim down everybody's ability to recover. They didn't want to be project recovery anymore. They wanted to be a bit more challenged to getting back to the stage because I don't know if you guys have ever actually read the project goals for Project M.
They're funny.
Have you?
I have not.
Have you?
I have.
But and see, one of their goals which I mean may seem a little laughable coming from 3.0, but recovery, which is number 6 on their goals, recoveries generally require great skill to use, with the advantage usually being with the edge guarding player, with some exceptions. They wanted that value to be incorporated into the game, which by all accounts was not a thing in 3.0. Right. the advantage definitely went with the recovering player. It's not even an advantage. It was just people got back for free. Like Diddy, yes, got back for free.
Samus
But-
Tether
Samus's tether got back for free,
all
and
the way
that's where.
across
And
Greenland, like from the blast zone. I swear that could connect.
Yeah.
Ivysaur ledge snapping from like 30 feet away, disgusting. Like an entire like Smash group got shut down at a university somewhere for that. But the point of 3.5 was they wanted to rein everything in, and going into the future, I think that they will. I think that they're probably going to adopt a much more like Valve with Dota, where they just little number tweaks here and there.
Definitely.
That's what I thought they were going to do with 3.0, but I was wrong.
That's what I'm hoping for. I think doing updates such as in a MOBA-esque fashion, where it's not, first off, it's not everything at once, I think also, because I feel like if they can explore the idea of tweaking a character while keeping everything else as a constant, that would be a really good way to figure out if it's truly a broken mechanic or anything along those lines. In the chat, actually, Advanced Multivitamin says PM was made to make every character viable, and that's true. And also in the chat, Pikmin decided to answer back, which will be, I guess, a response from him later. But I think PM was made to make every character viable. That's correct. But to me, my main issue with the game is that when it comes to the point where I'm playing 3.5 now and I want to pick the character that I enjoy, that I think got nerfed the least, that's an issue to me. Where it's like, oh, I have fun with Roy. I don't think he got nerfed that much. Let's play him. Or, oh, I have fun with Lucas. He sucks ass now. I'm not going to play him anymore. So I think that's an issue. I think that's a very big issue with the game.
Now you're learning about tier lists. See, you don't pick bad characters. Like, the characters that are fun to play as are the ones that are garbage. Always. It's like that in Melee. That's why you pick a real girl, like a top tier, and then you go with that.
Well, I mean, to an extent. I mean,
Everyone yells at me for picking Jigglypuff, though.
I think with PM, the tier list is somewhat fluid in that since they're just creating new meta games constantly, so it becomes difficult to decide. Oh, this character is broken because it's only been out for however long. Melee,
Well,
I mean,
it's a knee-jerk reaction.
Yeah.
Every time somebody loses to something, that shit is broken.
yeah, and with any game, like you're not going to see a response like that in Melee, I don't think. But with any game, like you can have, there will be characters who are considered low tier, and there will be characters who are considered high tier, and that I think in Project M, the characters who are considered low tier aren't necessarily less able to take a tournament, take a national, or anything like that, because you're going to see so much more character variety in that game than you are in Melee.
I'm just gonna come out here as like the sole Pikachu Ice Climbers main in this group from PM. That I just don't agree with anything at this point. Oh man, I've been stuck at the bottom so long that it's just like,
I like where this went. I think we'll just get Kevin to say once more PM is for frauds.
It is. You're right.
Wait, can you say wait, Kevin? Can you say word for word so that we can have like later on in this later on in the series of podcasts that if we have like a new follower that we can just have PM is for frauds as our follower sound?
Oh my goodness! No.
Because I think that needs to be a thing.
No.
Okay, well, Kevin is steadfast in his opinion that PM is for frauds, I think.
I wake up every day saying it.
And with that, we're gonna go to the last thing in this hashtag Ask New Meta. This is mostly a thing for those of you who use Twitter, any form of social media. I do post on. Oh, Kevin's out. I do post on Facebook on facebook.com/New Meta Entertainment. If you just search it, it's going to be the one that has the same logo as my Twitch channel. And I also post updates on Twitter. I'll post anything related to Twitch streams that are related to Smash on the SC Melee page as well. So again, if you're not a member of that page, definitely check it out. But for you guys, hashtag Ask New Meta, tweet hashtag Ask New Meta to ask us any questions. And if we get anything, come to the next episode. We'll start off with that and answer anything you guys might have to ask us. If you don't want to ask a question, you're wrong. But that's pretty much going to be it for the podcast. Episode 2, we're looking to go into analysis of top players in the world and South Carolina, in specifically South Carolina as well. Recap a few tournaments, see what's up with that. It's very fluid at the moment, but that's what we're looking to do for the next episode, and you can expect to see that sometime towards the end of January, beginning of February area. Naturally, I'll be uploading or posting that sort of thing on these forms of social media, so be sure to like, follow, subscribe, all that sort of deal, I guess. You guys want
to see that DJ was right about his predictions for Extinction Smash 4. Watch Dubby, I'm telling you.
Cody.
He's good.
All right, you guys got anything else to add right now?
I'll be doing in the meantime, I'll be doing a video about alternative controllers if you do not have a GameCube adapter for Smash.
Perfect, yeah.
So,
we'll be looking. Cody and I will actually be looking to do some alternative podcast-esque sort of deals, possibly match analysis as well, like I mentioned earlier in the podcast. So be on the lookout for that. And as I've already said, it's all going to get uploaded to YouTube as it happens, and I'll be notifying everyone through Facebook, Twitter, etc. So be on the lookout. And I think that's going to wrap it up for today.
All right.
Cool.
Thank you guys for watching.
Really, thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next episode of The Meta.
Shoutouts to 80 Advanced Multivitamin.
Shoutouts to you all, guys.
Challenging.
We'll see you next time. And shoutouts to Kevin. We'll see you next time, guys. Peace out.